Hi there, it's Catherine from Sunnyside Journals. Welcome to my subscribers. Welcome back. I'm going to do a little craft along with me. I mentioned earlier when I was working on Trust here that when I put buttons on the spine of a book, I do it, I believe, differently than other people do. And I said that I would show you how I do it. So I've got 4 already on because it would take too long to show you. There's no need to show you all of them. So we're going to do the last button together, and I'm going to show you how I do it because quite often other junk journal makers will sew the buttons in with the actual threads that they've sewn their signatures in with. And I'm sure that's fine because many of them, that's how they've done it. They keep doing it. I find for me, I just find it loosens those threads a bit, having the in and out weaving through the buttons. And part of me knows that pressure on those edges of the button, maybe over a few months or years of opening, closing, I just worry that it's going to weaken the threads and possibly break them. So I do mine a little differently. That way my signatures are snug, my buttons are beautiful and snug. They're not going anywhere, and it's very easy. And I think it looks just as cute. I usually like to leave these threads sort of hanging out there. It adds to the charm. So we're going to do this together. You're going to actually need your book. You're going to need, I usually use the same thread that I've used my signatures, to sew in my signatures. So you'll need your thread that you've used. You'll need a straight needle, and I use a curved needle. I have had times where I've just thought, oh, I'm going to see if I can wing it, and I can do it with the straight needle. A little easier with the curved needle. And sometimes I've just used like when I'm just grabbing things, and I'll do the whole thing with a curved needle, but this is quite cumbersome. So when I have a relaxing time to just enjoy putting my buttons on, I will use the 2 needles for the 2 different steps. Sometimes you might need a thimble, so if you've got one, keep it handy, because that way you don't have to go running to where's my darn thimble. Scissors, you might need pliers, so keep them handy just in case. Sometimes you might have to grab that needle, and you'll see when we get to that spot, because I might need them today. We'll see. Alrighty, so let's get started here. I have a second step that's going to involve a sleigh bell. So we'll get to that in a second. So one of the first things I do is, because I want to be looking down on it and make sure that I mostly have them spaced evenly, is I use one of these, I don't know, I guess it's a paper or a card holder for, you can get them at office supply stores. I get mine at thrift stores. They're at the thrift stores all the time. And I have several of them because I find, now you'll have to open up the signatures, but I find that it helps keep my book upright when I need to work on it upright. See, now it's hands-free and my book is upright. And it can hold, the one side can hold on, let me get my other one here. Come on. Here's another one here. So if you've got a smaller book that you're working on that you want to hold upright, it can just go into one side of the divider. And if it's a wider one like this, just split the pages up over this. I want to make sure I've still got you in focus. I apologize ahead of time if this goes in and out of focus, especially when I get to the point where I'm going to be using the needle and working on it. I'm not necessarily going to be able to stop and tap this darn screen up here to make sure I've got it in focus. So hopefully, let's cross our fingers and let's hope that this works well. So This is the top, this is the bottom. You'll see I've already got some eyelets in here, and that's how I'm going to put the sleigh bell in down there. But this button is going to be going right there. So the first thing I do is, let's move this over, is I pre-sew some crisscross thread onto the button ahead of time so that it already looks cute. And then you just give yourself a bit of thread here. This is upholstery thread. It's my preferred thread for sewing in signatures. Everyone's different. Here's where I prefer a straight needle, is when I'm doing the sewing in of the thread ahead of time. Now, because these are sort of curly and wiry and wild, I will, I'll put a needle in, or needle, a knot in the end. It's going to be cut off eventually. So that just helps keep them tamed and behaving themselves while we're sewing. All right, so we're going to just come up through one hole, and then I'm going to hold on to maybe about 4 inches, however long you think you need. There we go. However much you think you need, because you're going to need to be able to tie a knot in it when we're done. So give yourself, I usually have enough that I can just hold it with these 3 fingers and then hold the button. And then you're just going to go in the opposite hole, and I usually do it maybe 2 or 3 times. Let's see how that, now I forget what I did with those ones. Yeah, I think I did 3. Let's go ahead and do 3. And then in. All right, now you're going to come up through the 12 o'clock hole and go down and into the 6 o'clock hole. And do that 3 times so that you get your little crisscross look. Two, and then I think this is 3. Don't worry if you don't have even number. It's all going to be okay. There we go, into 6 o'clock. So there we go. We've got our crisscross. Let me make sure that you can see. We've got our crisscross there. I'm going to move the book out of the way for the time being. And if you flip it over, you'll see that your threads are coming out of 2 different holes. So now what you can do is you can just simply tie a knot in these threads. And if you're like me and you used to be in a Kayla and you remember your knot lessons, a good tight knot that will stay knotted is always right over left and under. And I keep my finger there so that I can pull it taut. And then left over right. And under. Come on, you. There we go. And pull it taut. There we go. So then what I do here, you can see now, that's tied in a knot. I will snip these so that these threads don't come out over the edge of the button. That way they're going to hide. So I'll snip them about there. Making sure you're in the focus. Good. Okay. So there, we're done with that. And then what I'll do is I use my thumb, and that little knot, I just sort of shove it into one of the holes there so that it reduces the bulk behind here. There we go. All right, so we've got our little crisscross threads, and now we're going to put it onto the book. So the next thing we're going to do is thread the curved needle. Again, I apologize. I know that this is going in and out of focus. I've got to figure out how to stop that if it's possible, but today's not the day. So, curved needle. There we go. Again, I tie a knot in it because this end is going to be trimmed anyways. So it won't make any difference because you're going to cut that ugly little knot off anyways. It just makes those ends behave themselves while you're working. So this button is going to go at the top, and I already know that I want it about there because there's going to be something here. Oh, hold on. There's going to be something going in down here. So we'll get to that in a second. So now what you do is you actually are going to go in through the 3 o'clock hole on your button. Now this, I'm working with 4-hole buttons this time. This still works with a 2-hole button. You'll just do 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock for all of the sewing. All right, so now what you're going to do is go in through 3 o'clock and hang on to your tail again. You want about 4 inches or so, however much you need to be able to comfortably tie a knot when you're done. And now, because this part you're going to eyeball, and don't sweat it. These are called junk journals for a reason. There is an amount of charm that people expect to see in a handmade book. They want to know that you actually sat at your table with your hands and you threaded those needles and you sewed this book, and there's just a beauty and a charm about that. So I really hope you don't sweat about this. So I know that approximately, I'm just eyeballing it, and I'm going to go in around here. The nice thing about this procedure, hold on, is if you finish sewing your button on and you think, oh my goodness, it's not even, it's wonky or something like that, you can snip it and sew it back on again the right way. I had to actually do that with this middle one. I didn't like how it was sitting, and I actually redid that off camera. So, and here's where your curved needle comes in handy. I usually estimate about how far apart my 9 o'clock and my 3 o'clock are. And then that's what I'm going to approximately do. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you're going to go in. And, oh, no, that didn't give me enough room. You really need maybe about 1/4 of an inch. You're going to go in. And then you're going to start leaning on that needle so that it starts coming up. Do you see that? I'm going to bring it up closer so you can see what I've done here. Do you see that? How I've got, hold on. Come on. There we go. Do you see how I've got this needle in here? And right there, I've given myself a bite into the, I mean, this has been glued down with Fabri-Tac. So, but you can still, it'll work, trust me. So I've just taken a bite and come up the other side. You just lean on that needle a bit. Sometimes if it's tough, this one was tough, and I actually had to use my pliers and make it cooperate, but it did. So then you're going to come back up. Let me put this down now. Bear with me. And let me get it back in focus. Bear with me. There we go. So bring your needle up and through. So now you've got your thread, and you're going to come back from back to front through the 9 o'clock hole, and there's your button. And I'm going to take a look and see if I'm happy with that. And you know what? I'm happy with that. And here's where you're going to do your right over left and under, and your left over right and under again. So right over left, and then left over right. Make sure that's tight. Sometimes upholstery thread wants to loosen up a little bit. So I just keep my finger on that knot until I pull it taut. And then it's good. These hold really good. And then this time, because I like these threads, so I will actually cut them longer than the button so that they're more noticeable, because I think they're charming. And there we go. And there you've got, that thing's on there. I could lift up the book with these buttons. They are so snug. They're not interfering with your stitches, your signature threads. And they're on there for the long haul. So I'm happy with that. So we have our buttons now on Trust. He's feeling festive. I like these. They kind of look, they're wooden, and they sort of look a bit like birch bark, I think. I really think I've been saving these for a while. I used 2. Oh, hold on. There we go. I used 2. I had 7. I used 2 on a new pair of overalls that I got. Last summer, I got some brown overalls, and I thought, I'm putting some wooden buttons on these overalls, and so I cut off the buttons they came with, and I sewed some of these on. So I've got 2, and the rest are going to whoever the new owner is. All right, so I'm going to put this back in upright because we're going to work on the spine a little bit. I don't know whether I want it upright or not, so let's see. So I want to put in, I've been waiting for a chance to use one of these. I found these big, huge bells. Doesn't that have a nice ring? I think about 2 years ago at one of my thrift stores, and it was on this long strap. It wasn't real leather. It was pleather, I think they call it. But these were all in a row. So I have a feeling that it was either a strap for Santa to shake, or else it was off of gear that they would use either on horse or on maybe reindeer, that someone local had this. But the pleather was cracking and breaking, and I guess it got donated. And I couldn't save the pleather. It was just so unsightly. But these bells, they have such a nice ring, and they're so big, and I love when a jingle bell has the holes at the ends of the crisscross. So this sleigh bell, I've been calling it, is going on Trust. And I have this from one of my thrift hauls. It's brown. Well, it looks like somebody cut it right in the middle. I've got 2 ends. All right, which one do I use? Did they really cut it right in the middle? Oh my goodness. Well, I'm not going to figure that out right now. I just want one. So we'll cut one of these. All right, I want it long enough so that I have room to tie a bow. So this is called the by gosh and by golly method. I'm just cutting it. And then, because I thought of this later, normally I would have just put one eyelet right in the center, but I thought about doing this after I already had my signatures sewn in, and there was just no way to get my crocodile in there. I'm going to check make sure I'm focused. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, I don't need this upright. Oh, I better get these out of the way. I always end up finding that I've lost my needles. So hold on while I put my needles into my tomato up there. You can't see my tomato. My tomato's up there. There's my tomato. So I am going to run this cord through there. I wonder if I want brown or if I want golden sparkly. Hold on, I'm going to pause you and go find my golden sparkly. All right, I'm back, and I think I like this better. I have some baker's twine that is sort of a camel brown and cream color, and it's got a tiny little bit of gold in it. And I think I like this better than the brown. And of course I went and cut that brown. It'll get used for something. Not too worried about it. So we're going to do this one instead. So I'm going to go, first I'm going to make sure I'm in focus. Oh boy. And then we're going to go through the jingle bell. There you go. Then I'm going to give myself some fresh ends to work with because those are ratty and I've got to put them through the eyelets. There. All right. Let's find the one eyelet there. That's going. Come on. Going through that eyelet. There we go. Behave. And then this one is going through this side. Come on, cooperate. Be good. Well, you're not gonna. Hold on. I don't want to have to put glue on you. I'd like you to just cooperate. Thank you. All right, good. So, now let me turn this over. So, there we go. So I want to leave some room because I don't want this jingle bell to get in the way when the new owner has it open and writing in it, and I don't want this. So it needs room to be able to sort of move it out of the way, and it also needs room so that it can jingle. So I'm going to, yeah, I want it about that length. And then I'm just going to tie a little bow there. I might want just a slip knot for simplicity. I'm not sure yet if I want a bow or not. Let me see. Alrighty, come on, just up you go. Okay, that's really cute. I'm happy with that. All right, let's trim you. There we go. All right, we did it. Yay. All right, so we sewed on a button, and that's how all of them were done. So there was no need to do them all. Just replay it over and over if you need to, or else if you've got questions, post your questions down below. I'll do my best to answer. I've done a lot more work on this fella. He's pretty well going to be ready to go in my Etsy shop tonight. So that's what's tonight. Today's Wednesday. So I think you'll be ready. But I'm going to do I'll do a flip through later and show you what all I've been working on. Well, thanks for visiting. Thanks for putting up with me while I did a craft along with me. I think I'll have to play it back. I think I got through it without swearing, which, yay me. Today I'm calling it my day of Catherine because I don't have to be anywhere. I don't have to go anywhere. I better knock on some wood. There we go. I'm still in my pajamas. You can't tell right now, but I'll be honest with you. I've got my pajamas on right now. Well, my pajama bottoms. I've got a regular top on top. And all I'm doing today is having fun in my studio, and I'm doing laundry. And yeah, that's the day of Catherine. So thanks for visiting, everyone. And I think there will be another video. Oh, there's definitely going to be 2 more videos today. I'm going to do a flip through of Trust. And I have I visited my mom yesterday and I went to my weigh-in store. So I have a tiny little bit of a thrift haul. So I'll be doing that later too. Okay, great. Take care and we'll talk soon. Bye.